the rescue mission, which incidentally ended unfortunately in Birnin Kebbi, where an Italian and British national were killed. We've got that report and it will come up now.
A Briton and an Italian who were abducted in Birnin Kebbi city in northwest Nigeria on the 12th of May 2011 have been killed in an operation to rescue them from the hands of their captors. The dreaded Boko Haram sect in Nigeria had posted a video on YouTube claiming responsibility for their abduction.
The terrorists holding the two hostages made very clear threats to take their lives, including in a video that was posted on the internet. After months of not knowing where they were being held, we received credible information about their location. A window of opportunity arose to try and secure their release. We also had reason to believe that their lives were under imminent and growing danger. Preparations were made to mount an operation to attempt to rescue Chris and Franco. Together with the Nigerian government, today I authorised it to go ahead with UK support. It is with great regret I have to say that both Chris and Franco have lost their lives.
A combined team of security operatives from Nigeria and British were in a last-minute effort to rescue the captives.
We are still awaiting confirmation of the details, but the early indications are clear that both men were murdered by their captors before they could be rescued. Our immediate thoughts must be with Chris and Franco's families, and we offer them our sincerest condolences. Both families have endured a terrible ordeal, and this is a devastating moment for all of them. The Foreign Office have been in regular contact with the McManus family since Chris's capture. I spoke to them before Christmas and spoke to them again with the news this afternoon. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Nigerian authorities and President Jonathan personally for all they've done to help find Chris and to combat terrorism. I also want to pay tribute to all those, including UK personnel, who worked so hard to try and bring Chris home safely. I'm very sorry that this ended so tragically. I ask that the media respect the family's privacy and allow them time to come to terms with their loss. Terrorism and appalling crimes such as these are a scourge on our world, and no one should be in any doubt about our determination to fight and to defeat them.
These ugly incidents has once again called to mind the question of tackling terrorism and insecurity in the country, as well as checking the excesses of the dreaded Boko Haram sect that has been unleashing terror in the country in recent times.
But in the meantime, Nigeria's #1 citizen has condemned the killing of the two kidnapped foreigners. Well, a statement issued by the presidency yesterday said that President Goodluck Jonathan describes the death as sad, unfortunate and regrettable. Well, part of the statement also read, quote, "The President, on behalf of the Nigerian government and on his own behalf, extends heartfelt condolences to the families of the bereaved and the people and governments of Britain and Italy." The President, who particularly commended the cooperation and understanding of the British and Italian government, assured that the perpetrators of the murderous act, who have all been arrested, will be made to face the full wrath of the law. End of quote. Well, this morning we're joined by Mr. Tony Nyiam, who is a retired colonel, to continue looking at this matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, indeed, an unfortunate scenario. Rescue mission just gone. Something just went wrong about the entire matter. But yeah, there are a whole lot of people. I mean, some comments posted on after the report says some are shocked that it actually happened in the state. Others just don't understand where all of this is going to. What are your thoughts on this matter?
I think the first thought is that the President has expressed our feelings. It's a very sad situation. More so, in a way, indirectly embarrassing the name of Nigeria, in that foreigners are being killed in our country. But again, I think the President has expressed our feelings. One would say is that I cannot but commend our security forces and agencies for the task they've been doing. just not long ago, actually, the police sergeant who died trying to
defuse the bomb.
Defuse the bomb was actually my in-law. He is married to my brother's daughter, and we lost him. The agencies are doing the best they can, the security agencies. Insurgency is a very difficult thing to deal with, and no one would, in effect, to start with. The rescue also involved British personnel.
Yeah.
So the usual condemnation of criticizing that Nigerians are not good enough doesn't come in the sense that the security agencies have been doing their best, and all they need is we the Nigerians to support them. And I think the biggest support the security agencies need is the political class. My question is, have they been doing their best? I think that question is loaded in that with all the level of corruption, like just a minute ago you were discussing about the pension corruption, the level of electoral fraud in that Nigerians are unable to elect their leaders, and the constitution we have, which is to me prone to insecurity. All these challenges means that I think the ball is now squarely on the politicians to be up to their task. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
The level of joblessness of our youths, the level of poverty is such that it drives young people at times to not to mind to lose their lives. The constitution we have now doesn't allow self-expression or self-determination of any people, because we live in a lie that we have a federal republic when we don't have a federal republic.
Well, you know, even though one might say the connection between that the true federalism, as it were, and security matters might be stretching it, or might be vaguely connected, put it that way. What exactly do you make of this particular matter, in the sense that sometime last year, when this video about the kidnap of the foreigners went viral, our security agencies told us that they weren't quite sure and they were still trying to confirm the story. In the light of the warnings issued by a couple of countries, on coming into Nigeria, what do you make of that? Trying to confirm the story and, the warnings. Do you think that we're going to see more of that kind of warnings in days to come? And will it be warranted?
Warnings from who?
Warnings from other countries to their citizens in Nigeria, probably.
Those warnings, we had them some time ago. You remember when Niger Delta crisis were happening? Those warnings would come now and again. But fundamentally, my point is that the politicians have to be up to the task. And so far, they've left the responsibility too squarely on the security agencies. Insurgency has three prone dimensions. There is the political, there is the psychological operations aspect, and of course, the use of force.
Well, looking at the political, sorry to cut you,
yes.
Well, looking at the political aspect, yesterday or 2 days ago, a report came in to the presidency, the Abamoro report, that was looking into the agitations of Boko Haram, and now it's been decided that they're going to use dialogue to settle this. Do you support the use of dialogue in this particular matter?
Last time I remember you were questioning me. I strongly, you can't defeat an insurgents group without speaking to them. It's never happened anywhere. More so, like I've said earlier, the constitution we have does not allow for self-determination expression. We say we're a federal state, and yet we have one monolithic law. for the whole country. It never happens in a federal.
But the states have their own laws.
No, the states don't have, you see, let me use the examples of known examples. In the United States, a state has Supreme Court. I hope you know that. Mm-hmm. In other words, people can determine how they want to live their life legally to the highest level. The states in Nigeria don't have that.
Oh, states have Supreme Court. Sorry, I thought you meant the state as a country has a Supreme Court.
No, sorry, the states. The United States, the states have.
Yeah, but we don't have to have the exact same thing for us to.
No, you can't. You can't invent the wheel if you want to be federal.
Yeah, you can.
Because the point I'm making is that you can't be. The whole word federal means that you allow for a country which allows for the nations within this country or for the different groups within that country to be able to express, to have self-autonomy, to have home rule to a level.
Even before we get to that extent, what about the laws we've got? How well are we operating those laws?
No, I think that question is that you're asking, you can't put the cart before the horse, or what is it? The laws we have, my argument is that the constitution we have will always generate insecurity.
The constitution we have present?
Yes, because it's false. Because it's not the Nigerian people's constitution. I don't know why this is. It sounds.
I find it. I'm still trying to find it. I'm still trying to tie in how the demand for a sovereign national conference to produce a people's constitution, assuages or is connected with providing security or dealing with the people's political aspirations, as it were.
No, you are using the word. I'm not talking of conference. I'm saying that in a federal state, you must allow for self-determination to a level. What we have in Niger Delta and Boko Haram is that there isn't that allowance in the constitution.
Okay, let's pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
There are those who would rather say this is not a security in quote problem as much as it is a political problem.
You're right. That's the point I'm making. That it has to be, that is, the security agencies are doing their job, but the political class and of course our elite, I must say with all respect to the questions I'm having here, have not got the point that the issue we have is a political issue. And I thought government should have reacted by separating out those. There are elements who wanted to ensure, to embarrass this government, that they cannot deal with the security matter, that one group or one part of the country only has the capability to provide security, to manage the security. Those elements were now took an advantage, as it were, to use the problem of those who want self-expression, those who want self-determination. That is, the Boko Haram, there are elements who are fighting for their own rights. Their right to live the way they want to live. And then there are political people who felt that, this government they must embarrass the government in the area of security.
In other words, people are fronting with the demands of Boko Haram.
That's it. The two have joined. I am saying that if the political class were intelligent enough to use with all humility, they can separate these people out, separate the group. But by addressing the political yearnings of the Boko Haram.
If the testimonies of Abu Kaka and Kabiru Sokoto, who are both in the custody of the SSS, anything to go by,
yes.
They have been speaking, and some of what they said has been in the papers. How do you reconcile the demand to Islamize Nigeria, with the political aspirations of everybody else?
No, I think this is a strong word we are using.
Because that's what they say. Those are not my words.
You see,
those are their words. I mean, in the confessions that they have made,
yes.
according to what we read yesterday,
yes.
One of their demands or their aim, their agenda is to Islamize Nigeria. How do you do that within the aspirations of everybody else?
Can I respond?
I'm just wondering if there is a limit to dialogue, what dialogue can do.
Can I respond to your question?
Yeah, sure.
The question is that it's not for us to put words into other people's mouth. The issue is this. My position is that if people want to live in one way or the other, there should be referendum in those areas, plebiscites as well. And if the critical mass majority, they feel that they want they want Sharia, so they should be allowed.
But what if they want to coerce everybody to live how they live? Is there room for that?
Can I come in? That is not possible. You know that you can't force what you want to other people.
In that situation, sorry, Tremeli, in that situation, what happens? Don't you see a situation where violence will inevitably come into the picture? Because if you are trying to say, I want to live a certain way and I want to force you to live a certain way, and you're saying, well, there's no way that can happen. I will let you live your own way. Let me live my own way.
No, you are the ones saying so, that they are forced, they want to force. My understanding is this. My understanding is that 2 zones of the country, as it were, have consistently expressed the wish to have Sharia in their zones.
2 zones of the country?
Yes.
Which zone and which
zone? The northeast and the northwest. They've always consistently, you hear...
And they have been allowed?
Now.
The states have been allowed to practice Sharia.
Right.
That's what they wish.
Right. Now, what has arisen is that these zones have their own internal problems, which I would have thought that they should allow them sort their problems. It is only when, and it's not the fault of this government, when a leader was extrajudicially murdered, that pushed these people to the extremes. It's not the fault of Jonathan's government. It was actually the fault of the previous government, that they arrested a man, they didn't allow the man to express himself, they shot him. It's a good thing that even the national governors just met a few days ago, and they're all calling for a holistic approach. And if they're not paying lip service to what the word holistic means, it means that it's not only use of force, it means that you deal with the issue, the political issue, because the challenges we have, insurgency, anybody who will tell you, who knows about insurgency, is that it's a war of heart and mind. The aim is to win the hearts and minds of the people.
Is that the kind of response you were talking about politically that they should be responding to?
Yes, that is in winning because you see, once you use force, the more force you use, the more you, as it were, you are playing, you are as it were, playing into the hands of the insurgents. You use the force, no doubt, but the force should always be accompanied by a political approach to the solution.
How then does it work? Because if you say insurgents has to deal with the heart and mind of the people, remember, for instance, now if they have to radicalize a certain group of people, they go through, say, their opinion leaders.
Sure.
And so perhaps a two-step flow kind of theory comes in, where the message comes from a source, it gets to the middle person who internalizes that message before he passes it down. How should government be approaching it? You get through them. How do you get to those down there who eventually their hearts and minds are radicalized?
What I was saying, that it is always the counter-insurgency policy has to be hearts and mind directed. That is, if you rely only on the use of force, you rather push, because at times you make up in operations, you may hit even those who are not even the insurgents, because they are very fluid, and in so doing you lose more friends rather than winning friends. So the situation we have today is that, I don't know why, maybe is that there is no scope for the nations or the sub-nations within this country to express themselves.
How do you mean?
How do I mean? For example, those of us from Niger Delta, we are not happy that in our own country, the resources that come from our soil is said to belong to someone else. Where else in the world do you have that?
I'm not sure
who is the someone else that the resources belong to?
No, do the resources, the minerals below in Yenegua, do they belong to the landowners of Yenegua?
That's not how we view it. It's more like, I think that simile doesn't quite work, or that analogy doesn't quite work, because it's more like a marriage. If you're part of a whole of something, what it means, inevitably, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that whatever each of you bring into that partnership, into that marriage, as it were, belongs to both of you. If Yenagua is a part of Nigeria, it would automatically follow that what belongs to Yenagua belongs to Nigeria.
So Yenagua of Nigeria.
Let me correct you. Prior to the Civil War, the oil resources that belonged to the people it didn't belong to the federal. The federal only taxed. If you own a piece of land and you have minerals under you, you own them.
Okay.
This is what is everywhere in the world. It's only in Nigeria. And I'm surprised that you are suggesting that if I own a piece of land, I don't have a right to that land. No, I say it goes to Nigeria.
Okay, now the question is it, if you now say you're talking about the different nations, sub-nations in the nation not having room for self-expression.
Yes.
Does that now give room for self-destruction?
Oh yes. You see, once you know that once you prevent people, any person, even if you have a child and you prevent a child, you smack a child and you say the child should not cry, the child will cry.
Well, the thing is, every person in this country has a reason to be angry about something or the other, but that does not necessarily mean we all should be violent about it.
I agree.
What should we be doing to ensure that we nip this in the bud, such that if you say it's political, even if this government is off, how do we ensure that it doesn't rise head again in the next government or be reduced to the barest minimum, for instance?
No, this government is not the problem. This is cumulative problems of past governments. This government, in fact, took up a problem which had been a long time.
Yeah, I say the government in passing. I'm really addressing the problem. What should we be doing?
To address the problem, the first thing that is essential is to allow the people's voice to come for. By that I mean the people should determine and express their will by their constitution.
That will be
the constitution.
The strategy to address this insurgents or this violence among any group?
You use the word strategic. The strategic response is that you have to have constitutional reforms where you allow the sub-nations or the zones within the country to be able to express themselves and to own what they own.
Are they not expressing themselves through their representatives in the National Assembly?
Are they not?
They have representatives in the National Assembly. Are they not expressing themselves?
I earlier said that the elections we've been having, if you are sincere to yourself, in most states have been fraudulent. So those who are representing us are nominally, you may say, representing us. They are not the people's choice.
Is there any room for bridging the gap between the security session and the civil society?
Oh, yes.
In this matter?
The matter I have said earlier, that the security agencies are doing the best they can do.
How does the society help them?
The society helps them by having a proper constitution. That is, the government, it's not the people, the government has a responsibility to reconstitute Nigeria in a way that is less insecurity prone.
Which one item perhaps can you suggest in that respect, in that context of civil society helping security agencies, if they were to amend anything?
Oh, if they were to amend anything?
Legally, constitutionally, you mentioned amendment of the constitution or something?
No, I'm suggesting that the constitution we have now is not the people's constitution.
So it's not this one we should be amending. We should be rewriting another one.
We should have a constitution, not a writing. We don't have a constitution that is the people's constitution.
A good thing you're retired.
Because it is what we have now was a decree.
A decree.
You see, that fault is what is haunting us. You see, the lie we are living that we have a constitution when we don't have a constitution. When you live a lie, the consequence of lie will continue haunting us.